I mentioned in my last video, I requested all my data from Google and Facebook. And it took them about 2 or 3 days, but they sent me some links. Google sent me 41 different links, which was about 80 gigs of data. So you can see all the folders here that he created. Facebook was more like 600 megs, and he had as well a ton of data on me. So if I had to summarize based on what I saw from Google and Facebook, say it's like a diary of everything I ever did. That would be the best way I could summarize it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'll start here on top, and I won't go through each one of these folders. I'll just hit the highlights, because otherwise it would take way too long. So the first thing here is Android device configuration. So that had basically information on the Android device I had 3 years ago. I use a different phone now, so I don't use Android phones anymore, but it had everything, including down to the serial number of that Android phone. It had all my calendar information. Google has all the events that I attended. Google has all my Chrome bookmarks, history, that kind of information, all my contacts. Drive was interesting because it had files that I had deleted many years ago. So there were some pictures that actually I was looking for that I was able to recover. So was keeping those for some reason. Going down to photos, it has all the photos, including, if you notice, there's a #2, #2, #3. I have the same folder name, so this is probably just different versions. So maybe I deleted a photo, added a photo. So it keeps track of all of that. All the movies, TVs I've rented or watched or purchased, shopping that I've done, all the groups that I've joined in Google. Hangouts is basically like FaceTime or Zoom, and so it keeps track of all my sessions. There's several folders here that have to do with maps and location, and we'll talk about that. It includes things like Google calculates the probability of what you're doing. So for instance, not only is it tracking you, but it's making a guess as far as whether you're in a train, on a ferry, walking, hiking, depending, I guess, various factors. Mail, it has all the mail, all my mail, including junk email. I have no idea why it's keeping my junk email. Again, all maps data. And let's go ahead at this point, going to my activity, because that's basically where it has all the tracking information. So if I start here, I'll just start with ads. I go into my activity. You'll notice that it basically is tracking, and this file is huge. I can just scroll and just, can't get to the end of it, seems like. But if I were to click on any of these links, it will show you not only what I went to, what website I visited, and this is not something I searched. This is the REI website. I didn't search. I literally typed in rei.com in the Chrome. And so I used this image in my last video that had to do with cookies and how you are tracked on the internet. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. And I'll put a link at the end of this video as well as down below here in the comments. But you'll see this picture and you'll see this logo, which is where I got it from this website. So it's tracking essentially all the pages I visited. It has assistant, is interesting. I have a device. It's like it shows photos. It's like it's like a little picture frame Google device, and I think Nest Home is the name of it. But if I go on here, it'll show, for example, all the commands or all the things that I asked. So this is like sort of like Hey Siri for iPhone. But you say Hey Google. And here it says that I said show front door, and not only that, it's keeping a copy of my voice. Hey Google, show front door. So it actually keeps track of my actual voice, and it transcribes what I said. Date, time, not only date and time, but also location. Where did I do this? It's tracking a lot of data. What I said, where I said it, how I said it. All right, books. So any books that I've looked at, again, through Google. And so like if I click on a link here, it will pull, for example, I looked at this particular book. So if I bought a book or anything like that, same with video or movies that I've rented, when was the last time I watched it, it tracks those here. all the development stuff that I've done. I've looked up some stuff for, I did some Android development using Kotlin, so it has information on that. Okay, let's next look at Google Discover. So if you look at Google Discover, you'll see here, for example, it has Virginia Cavaliers men's basketball. So that's basically based on what I've done in the past. So it's keeping track of that, and it's going to use that to feed content to me. So let's actually do a search on Google Discover. And you see how it fills the rest of it for me? Technology behind Google, where it predicts what I'm going to type, basically. So here's what it says. It says with Google Discover, you can get information about your interests, like your favorite sports team or news site, without searching them. So it's used to feed content that I'm interested in. Let's go back actually to the file and see what else is on here. Also has something called cards. So basically it shows the things that I've, so here, for example, says iPhone viewed, so Kotlin viewed. So these must be things that I've done, so it's making a note of that. Macintosh, these are the things that it thinks I may be interested in. Sri Lanka, this is probably because there was some kind of event on this date, April 22nd, 2019. So I didn't look up Sri Lanka, but if I do, let me see, if I do Sri Lanka for, was it 22? For 22. Okay, so you can see there was a major event at that time. That's why it's on my feed. See what else. Okay, it's tracking all the apps that I've used, all the Google apps, and how I've used them. Google Lens, again, that's an interesting product. Let me go ahead and bring up Google. So Google Lens, you can use that. So for example, if I took a picture, or let's say I'm hiking and I see a tree or a flower, and I want to know what it is, I can use Google Lens, and Google Lens will try to match that in its database and on the internet and pull information and tell me what kind of flower that is. So let's see. Google Lens will do just see what Google says. And I'm trying to see, okay, here it is. Search what you see. So that's a good description. Scan and translate text. Find a look you like. So if you looked at something, a bag or furniture, it's going to pull other information regarding that. If you scan a barcode, it will find the best price for that particular item or similar items for you. If you take a look at the menu, for example, here is looking at the menu, it's going to pull for you what's popular from the menu and reviews from Google Maps. If you take a picture of a building, it'll pull information, historical facts, hours of operation. It'll identify plants and animals. It's a pretty powerful tool. And a lot of these things like Discover, Cars, Lens, all came out of the division of Google called Google X. It was founded by this guy, Mohak Parviz. And he's actually now at Amazon, so he's no longer at Google, but he's actually the one that created Google Glass. Never took off, but apparently now Apple has come up with Apple Glass. That's going to be coming within next year, so we'll see how that pans out. He did a contact lens while he was in Google X, where it would actually measure your glucose. He was trying to basically continuously monitor your health through a contact lens. And he did some stuff as far as powering contact lens wirelessly. So different types of things. He's an interesting guy. And I think he did a TED Talk. You guys are interested, go look that up. But now he's on Amazon. I'm not sure what he's doing at Amazon. Let me just search. Yeah, he's doing something, Amazon Grand Challenge. So working on various things. And Google has a similar thing that's continuing on without this guy. So a lot of these products like Lens or other things come out of the division. Some fail, like Google Glass, for example, but may come in the future in in a different form or with a different company like Apple. All right, getting a little bit sidetracked here. Let me go back. Okay, so let's look at how Google tracks your location, and we'll go to Maps and My Activity and get started here. So as you can see, like for example here, I looked at my timeline. So let's go ahead and click on that. And so here's my timeline, and I can look things up by year, month, and date, and I can go all the way back to 2009. And on the bottom left, it shows you all the places that I've been. If I click on that, it will actually rank them 1 through whatever. So like my top 10 list of the places that I've been to. So the number 1 is home, number 2 is work, and 3, 4, and 5 are family and close friend locations. And so the first thing outside of that, as you can see, is Costco. And it shows that I've been to Costco, it says 63 days. Okay, so let's look at what else Google uses in terms of tracking your locations. So we'll go over here under location history, go to 2017, August, and take a look. Now these files are JSON files, so they're basically used for transmission of data, but you can easily open them using Notepad. So you can see here it has my GPS location. It has determined what is the address to that location and how confident it is that this information is correct. So it thinks it's 99% sure that this information is correct. Next, let's take a look at and see what it knows as far as what I'm doing, what activity I'm doing. In this case, Google thinks I'm in a car, traveling in a car, and it is 97% sure. It also has other possibilities here, but they're less than 3% altogether. Okay, Google also tries to establish my habits and trends. So for example, here you can see that it's figured out what days I go into the office. So the day has a number next to it, 1 through 7, and what time I leave and what time I usually come back. So I'm going to stop there because this video is already too long, but as you can see, Google knows quite a bit about me. It knows everything I've searched. It knows all the websites I've visited, where I went on those websites, what interests I have. It has a profile on me to be used supposedly for ads. It knows what I'm watching, what videos I watch, what I like to watch, and on and on and on. So you have to ask yourself, how did I let this happen and why? I can summarize it to that. I can say it's because I like to watch funny videos. It's ridiculous, but in a way it's true. There have been improvements. There are little privacy banners that pop up when you go visit a lot of websites. That's mostly thanks to laws from European Union and state of California as well. I was reading an article where it was saying basically New York Times can be held liable. Let's say they put some information in there and it's either wrong or someone doesn't like it, or they can be sued. But yet, if you blog or your internet provider or you post something or retweet something, you can do that with no problem. And you have protection under this section 230, which I didn't know about. I learned through this process. The biggest thing for me is there is no really transparency out there. There's no explicit, no one is telling you right up front in big letters what's going on. They sell it, there is no permission asked, and they just keep it, and you don't know, okay, first of all, what they use it for, and second, who else has access to this that even they may not know. Somebody maybe, hacked into their systems, and there's a lot of information in there that someone can learn. So there's a lot of different options, whether, people should explicitly opt in for anything, or there should be some kind of time limit if you permit something. I don't know what the answers are, but it seems like no one's paying any attention. And as I mentioned before, looking at these congressional testimonies just seem like a show. So anyways, that's all I have here. I'll do another video on Facebook. Thank you.